Namaskar, my dear friends. I am sitting alone in a forest area. You can listen the very sweet and melodious sound of birds of various species. Dear friends, let us talk about some fundamental aspects of spirituality. My dear friends, spirituality is the concern of an individual. When we distinguish between religion and spirituality, religion we talk about as a group of millions and millions of people. But spirituality, no group is required. It is the simple connection between the individual soul and God. The principles of religion, they are man-made, whereas spirituality is natural. People are confused what path they should follow and what path they should avoid. Dear friends, there is a reason people are confused about the spiritual paths. You read one book written by an author. You complete the book and you learn something, but you are not satisfied. You go for another book on the same topic. Now you find that whatever you have read in the first book, the content of this book are 180 degree out of phase. That means you reach the same point where from you started. Your net result of studying these two books is 0. Now you read a third book, you gain some information, complete the book, go for fourth book. You find the contents are completely contrary to the previous 3 books. So your mind is completely confused. Dear friends, it is not the fault of the books and authors. It is our fault. We simply read and expect something to happen miraculously. Nothing of that sort is going to happen. My dear friend, people, they say whether God exists or not. If God exists, why we are not able to see and experience His existence? My dear friend, this is a very, very simple logic to understand. Suppose you want to see your face, a mirror is provided, and that mirror is covered with some cloth. First thing, you have to remove the cloth. Then the mirror may be completely dirty. You have to remove the dust. Then only you will be able to see your face. Similarly is the case. Our minds are completely polluted. Our minds are completely polluted by anger, lust, greed, attachment, then conflicts between various caste groups, religious groups and all. That means our minds are completely polluted. So first thing, we have to cleanse our minds. We have to purify our mind. Very simple thing. How to purify the mind? Remove anger. Remove greediness. Remove selfishness. Create love for each and everybody who comes in your contact. This way, your mind will be purified and will be ready for receiving the spiritual knowledge. You read a book. Before that, first thing, you have to have faith in yourself, my dear. Self-belief is the most important thing. God is not residing in the sky somewhere on the top or somewhere on the earth. My dear friends, yourself is the God. Yourself is the Brahma. There is no difference between yourself and God. In Hinduism, self is known as Atma and God is known as Brahma. Whatever are the attributes of Brahma, the Atma also possesses the same attributes. So, when you realize your Atma, when you realize your self, simultaneously you realize Brahman. So, my dear friend, people talk about self-realization, read books on self-realization. They feel and they expect something very miraculous will happen. My dear friend, your Atma is the nearest element with you. So when we talk about self-realization, it does not mean something new will come in front of you. Something new entity will appear in front of you. Nothing doing. My dear friend, your Atma is without any beginning, without any ending. It never takes birth, it never dies. And it is a very simple thing to understand. Anything is born has to undergo the process of death. If you think that Atma will appear in front of you as a fresh entity, you are mistaken. Because Atma, like Brahma, is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. The Atma has infinite powers like God. So have firm faith in your own self, because you put the hindrance that I have to undergo these sadhanas. It will take one birth, two births, many births, then only I will be able to self-realize. Dear friend, it is the man-made taboos, it is the man-made breaks, the man-made barriers. Nothing. Atma is already actually realized. You have to remove this idea that I am not self-realized, because the idea that I am not self-realized itself is the biggest hindrance in the path of self-realization. So dear friends, do not have the mixed ideas that I will not be able to realize the self during this lifetime. I will not be able to realize God during this lifetime. No, remove these ideas. Remove these, because they are the stumbling block in the path of spirituality. See these trees. They are silent. They do not have any greediness. They do not have any jealousy. They do not have any ill feeling against anybody. They take their diets from the Mother Earth and from the atmosphere. Sunlight helps for their photosynthesis. So they get their food through photosynthesis. They get minerals from the earth. They do not go for any 5-star hotel, 7-star hotel for their food. Whatever is available in the nature, they are happy, and you can see they are so tall. So same way, first thing we have to learn the satisfaction. Whatever we are getting for eating, just enjoy. See this bird, it is singing. Whatever it gets for eating, it eats and does not worry for tomorrow. See what a wonderful singing. Wonderful singing. You talk about the trees, talk about the birds, talk about animals. They eat their natural diet and live life in a very, very natural way. Man is suffering. Why? Because man is not satisfied. He wants big houses, he wants tasty food, he wants many vehicles. So his hunger is never satisfied. So in the pursuit of earning more and more money, more and more assets, he is going away from the nature. He is going from the God. He does not have any time to talk about the self, to talk about the Atma, to talk about God. Dear friends, you have to change your attitude and you have to come very near to the nature, because your artificial lifestyle is not going to provide any happiness. You are running after ephemeral pleasures. You may get pleasure temporarily, but will not get happiness. Happiness can be achieved only through spiritual means, because the very nature of Atma and God is bliss and tranquility. See, we talk about mind, and the basic conception of mind is not at all clear to people. Mind is not a separate entity, because our Atma has a very, very special feature that thoughts arise from the Atma. Again I repeat, thoughts arise from the Atma. I am the body. This is known as the I thought, basic thought, root thought. False I it is called. This basic and root thought is our ego. When we identify ourselves with the body, then it gives rise to ego. So I thought is ego. This is the first thought. Rest all other thoughts, they follow the root thought. That means our ego is the main cause of rising of thoughts from Atma. Another thing, my dear friends, thoughts arising from Atma, going outward, they are entering the world. They are entering the physical world. These thoughts get negative energy and completely forget about the source. These thoughts give rise to various desires, various feelings like greediness, anger, jealousy, avarice, attachment, hatred. So, this is the basic nature of outgoing thoughts. If the same thoughts, they are forced to divert inwardly, then they are going near to the Atma. They are in the arena of positive energy. So we say these thoughts are purified and these thoughts are completely pure. The chain of these thoughts is named as mind. Mind going outward is polluted. It is having everything against the pursuit of spirituality. But mind going inwardly near to the source, that is the Atma, then this mind is pure and it is itself Atma. So dear friends, ego, Atma, intellect, these are the modifications of mind. In reality, there is no difference between mind, Atma and Buddhi, because intellect is nothing but the discriminatory tenet of mind. It is acting just like a judge. Something is bad or good, it is decided by intellect. Dear friends, remember, our sense organs, they receive the power from Atma. Our eyes, nose, ears, tongue, they are simply devices. But the actual power to carry out their functions, they receive power from Atma. Remember. So dear friends, spare some time. Sit in meditation. See, for meditation also people are confused. See, in meditation, you have to keep silence. See, silence is the most important factor in the sadhana of self-realization. See, silence means your outgoing mind is completely diverted inwardly. That means your mind merges with Atma. Your ego merges with Atma. And this is self-realization. Nothing new happens. Just change of direction of your mind, your ego. No devices are required. No involvement of money. Just very simple process. Sit alone. Start visualizing. See, visualization, contemplation leads to concentration. See, these terms are very confusing for people. See, concentration does not mean that you emphasize on a particular thought. If you start concentrating on a thought, that means you are keeping your mind alive. But the basic requirement in self-realization is you have to destroy your mind and ego. See, concentration is nothing but just emphasize, contemplate, visualize, keep self-awareness, self-attention on Atma. See, mind can lead you to hell. Mind can lead you to heaven. This is a common proverb. And it is correct also. If you keep your mind always outwardly, that means you are always away from Atma and God. But if you divert your mind inwardly, then this mind will go and merge with the Atma. And this is the stage of self-realization. See, first thing you have to believe yourself. Believing yourself means you believe in your Atma. What you are not this body. Take out this idea. Remove this idea from your thought process. You are not this body. You are not this ego. You are not mind. You are Atma. Dear friend, there is no difficult technology needed for this, because you are Atma. You have to believe in your Atma. and do not put hindrance that I will not be able to realize myself during this lifetime. This is the biggest stumbling block. Remove this idea. Dear friend, just have the belief that you are Atma and you are already realized. See, when we say self-realization, you have to destroy your ego, you have to destroy your mind, you have to purify your mind, your ego, and your intellect. Purification means what? When mind, ego, intellect, and your vasanas, they are merging with Atma. That's all. This is purification. Thoughts going outward, polluted. Thoughts going back to the source, that is Atma, they are purified. These thoughts, when they are always moving outward and they are repeated now and then they take a very, very concrete shape in the form of vasanas, in the form of subtle impressions. We call them as vasanas, sanskaras. Our every action in life is completely controlled by these vasanas. These vasanas are embedded in our chitta, in our subconscious mind, like seeds. See, seeds are hidden in the soil during rainy season. These seeds germinate and comes in the form of plants, bushes, and trees. The same way, these vasanas, they are hidden in our subconscious mind. So, we meditate. You know the reason why meditation is needed? Because when we meditate and concentrate with the awareness and self-attention of Atma, that means we have self-attention and self-awareness of Atma. What is the result? Ego is weakened. Vasanas are weakened. Mind is also weakened. And when the meditation is successful, a stage arrives when the vasanas are completely destroyed. Mind is completely destroyed. Ego is completely destroyed. And we say we realize the self. See, we have to maintain our body also, because body is the temple where Atma and God resides. As per our Hindu dharma, in the body there is a spiritual heart. Spiritual heart is different from the physical heart. This physical heart is on the left side. It carries out the purification, blood and all the life processes. But the spiritual heart is on the right side. Atma and Paramatma, soul and God reside in the spiritual heart. Dear friend, the conception of spiritual heart may confuse you, because the conception of spiritual heart is just for understanding. In the actual sense, this spiritual heart is not located on right or left or anywhere, because the spiritual heart, Atma, Brahm, spiritual heart, soul and God are the same. As God is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, Atma is also omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. In the same way, the spiritual heart is also omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. So you have to keep in mind, you have to remember this fact. When you sit for meditation, do not try to locate spiritual heart, because like Atma and Paramatma, like soul and God, the spiritual heart is also infinite. If spiritual heart is infinite, God is infinite, Atma is infinite, then body is finite, and in body, as we say, spiritual heart is further finite. So infinite cannot be occupied in a finite entity. So dear friends, these are very, very simple things but are made confusing. There is nothing confusion. No, there should not be any confusion. When we say Atma, Atma and Paramatma is same. Our Atma is having infinite powers, but due to our vasanas, due to our ego, due to our mind, polluted thoughts, there are many veils on Atma. So, to realize this Atma, we have to remove the various veils. We have to remove the veil of mind, ego, vasanas and Maya. Maya is another very, very fantastic word. Dear friends, see, anything is not real, we call it as Maya. But in the actual sense, it is the power, Shakti of Paramatma, through which Paramatma acts in the universe. So this Maya is nothing but the power of God through which God acts. Dear friends, you go to spiritual perceptors, you listen to their sermons, discourses. There your mind is concentrated. But after coming away from them, you are again in the process of worldly affairs. No, dear. Listen the sermons, listen the discourses, and then contemplate. Try to visualize. Try to remember what you have heard, what you have listened. Try to recollect the various points told by your perceptor. Unless you recollect the important points and then contemplate on the same points, your attending the satsang or discourse session will be of no use. So, you have to put efforts. See, we say surrender. We say grace. My dear friends, whatever your perceptor, whatever your guru tells you, you have to have faith. Whatever spiritual sadhanas your guru tells you, you have to believe and you have to act upon those sadhanas and go for spiritual tapasya. This is surrender. See, when your ego, your mind going inwardly to the source, this is also surrender. You believe in your guru's discourse, that is also surrender. Then people talk about grace. Dear friend, suppose you are going to fetch water from a river. As per the capacity of your pot, you will be able to collect water. And if your pot is having holes, so whatever you fill, whatever amount of water you fill in the pot, the same water will go out. This is the normal case with people attending satsang. They go, listen, sit, and come out and completely forget about whatever your perceptor has told you. Then you blame your perceptor. I did not get any grace. I was not imparted any grace. My dear friend, the perceptor provides grace. It is your capacity, how much grace you are able to digest. So, to receive grace, you have to make yourself eligible. How you can make yourself eligible for receiving grace? Purification of mind. Destruction of mind, destruction of ego, destruction of vasanas. Simple way of receiving grace. Everything in spirituality is interconnected. Grace and purification of your mind are inversely proportional to each other. Mind, ego and vasanas are weakened more and more. You are receiving grace more and more. That means mind, ego and vasanas are going downward and you are receiving more and more grace. Means vasanas and all negative entities graph downward, grace is increasing, graph is going upward. So this is grace and all your purification of mind and all, they are inversely proportional. Destruction of mind, ego and vasanas going downward, grace is received more and more, the graph is going upward. Dear friends, take some time, spare some time, go to some garden, some park or some forest area. Sit there. Why? Because I tell you, when you are in your houses, your society, your town, there remember the thoughts they are in the form of electromagnetic waves. There are negative thoughts, there are positive thoughts. When your thoughts interact with the thoughts of others, so some thoughts will have added advantage, some thoughts will have the pattern of detection. So your mind is not stable. When you are sitting in the grove of trees in a forest area, trees, they only induce positive energy because they are free from greediness, avarice, jealousy, attachment, because trees, they provide fruits, they provide oxygen without consideration of caste, color and creed. When they provide oxygen, they never have the idea of anything like caste, color, creed, religion, religious groups and all. So you get a very, very positive atmosphere. Environment is very suitable for meditation. Same way birds. Birds also never have any distinction of religion, caste, color. So wherever there are trees, you will find birds. And that is the best environment for meditation. Because in the beginning, environment is very, very important, because already our minds are agitated and vibrations are very powerful, and thoughts of negative energy also increase the vibratory process in our mind, so we will not be able to concentrate our mind. If you are sitting on the bank of a river, on the bank of a lake, in the forest, these are all positive environmental conditions, because there is no external attack of negative energy. The sound of birds gives an added advantage and makes your meditation successful. The sound produced by the trees also gives a positive condition. My dear friends, just you have to change the direction of your mind, because you are prey to various wrong conceptions. People, they complain that we are so busy, we don't have time. My dear friends, there is no separate time required. You may be sitting in your shop, you may be working in your factory, maybe sitting in office. Just have the feeling that I am the self. Just have this feeling. No spare time is needed. If you have spare time, it is well and good. If you don't have, then don't worry. Wherever you are, just have feeling. See, you have your son. Do you require spare time to remember your son, that Ram is my son, Krishna is my son. You don't require any special time for that. It is quite natural. Yes, he is my son, that's all. Same way. Have the feeling that I am Atma, I am God. What time is needed for this? This will become your basic thought process. So you have to change the thought process. Do not complain. Earn money is not bad. But do not get worrisome. Do not become worried. Whatever you are having, have the satisfaction. Be contented with whatever you are having. Earn more. There is no bar. Earn more money, help the needy people. Enjoy your life. So spiritualism does not mean that you leave the worldly affairs, go to jungle. No. Nothing of that kind is needed. You do your job, whatever you are doing, you carry on doing. But internally have the feeling that I am not this body. I am Atma. And I am part and parcel of God. As God is having infinite powers, I myself as Atma also possess infinite powers. So this way you can convince your mind. Your mind will be diverted inwardly and it will be purified. You will have the self-realization. So my dear friends, read good books. Whenever you get chance, attend some holy discourses. It is good, but you have to remember basic things. So, dear friends, I have talked about spirituality, self-realization, God realization. Dear friends, for self-realization, no science and technology needed, because it is our basic nature. Bliss and tranquility, peace and bliss is our basic nature. We deserve this bliss and peace, and it is free. As God has provided water, air and everything free, prana vayu free, same way this self-knowledge is also free. Dear friends, just sit for meditation, have visualization, contemplation. You will receive answers of all your queries. But you have to put efforts. Unless you put efforts, never expect any grace. Grace is ever available. God is providing grace to each and everybody, but we have to make ourselves eligible to receive the grace. So thank you, my dear friends, for listening this. Please share this video to maximum people, like, comment, and please subscribe my channel so that more and more people may be benefited. Thank you. Namaskar.